And welcome back. Today we're going to get into a little bit more. I'm going to show you how to add a second character, and I'm going to show you how to do some ground and kind of make the lighting work a little better. You remember in our last one the background was just white and there wasn't really any shadows or anything. So let's get right to it. So the first thing we did, kind of a recap here, we're going to open a new file, and we're going to open our no face rig like that. So we have our character, and you remember from last time in our UV editor, we're going to go image, replace image, and then we're going to grab one of our skins. In this case, I'm going to use me. There I am. And now to add a second character, I'm not sure if there's a better way to do this. This is the only way I know how. The problem is if I try to append a character now from the same rig, it won't let me. Nothing changes here. Because it's already open, it won't let me do it. So what you need to do is save this. So we're just going to save this as test. Like that. So now you can see up top here it says rig no face. It's called test.blend. So now it should append the Minecraft rig. And you can see all the objects come up in here now. So what you're going to want to do, let me go back. We've got our first guy in here. We've saved it as test.blend. I'm going to go File, right here, Append. And then I'm going to reopen that same in the rig no face Minecraft rig blend. And now I'm going to go into the object folder. These are all single clicks, by the way. And here's all the files for the character. So what you got to do, hold down shift, and you got to select every single one all the way up here, except for camera right at the top. We've already got a camera in the scene, so I don't need to bring in the camera again. So now these are all selected. Over here, you click on Append from Library, and there's our new guy. I'm going to press letter G to grab him. You can see he's already selected. Now that he's grabbed, I can move him around. They come with these extra things, and to be honest with you, I have no idea what they are. I just delete them. So I right-click, and I press delete, and I click delete. That one, and that one. I don't know what they are. I don't know what they're for, so I get rid of them. So once again, click somewhere in the core here to move them. Press G. We'll get this guy kind of the same height. Middle mouse button to scroll around. And we'll grab the arrow to move him back a bit. There we go. So we got two people here. So now, this guy's skin, to change it, you can see currently it's showing my skin, and it just says character skin. Because we added another one with the same name, if you drop down the list here, you can see it says character skin 001. So that's the next one. If I save this, append it again, then it would say character skin 002, etc., etc. So every time you add one, it'll get a new name. Anyway, in the UV editor, and if UV editor is not open, you can click on the window to choose UV image editor. Switch to the character skin you want to change. And then we're just going to go image, replace image. I'm going to find my skin files, and I'm going to add Queen Liz. There we go. One thing to note here, you can see her coat, her jacket is missing, and that's because in this particular range of detail, I suppose, they don't bother showing the skins, the second layer of skins. But eventually, that will render out when you select render. I'm going to select pose mode. Then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of move her a little bit here, like that. Maybe move out her leg, and we'll move out this leg. So again, all I'm doing, middle mouse button held down to rotate around, right click and hold to select the area you want to move. Once you get it positioned, press your left mouse button to drop it. So I will select that one. Here we can be holding hands. There. There we go. Okay, so now that we got that in place, and my arm isn't quite as funny, we're going to... uh-oh. Control Z to undo. One of the best things you can learn. There. Okay, so the next step here is the lighting. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of this window because I'm done with it. And again, you just point in between, right-click, join area, and then I want to pull this bottom window here up. So I do that. So now I'm going to select the render so I can show you. First one's render. I'm going to set it to 5. So it's a nice quick render. And then I'm going to render. Okay. You can see behind me everything's white. There isn't a lot of detail. The shadows are pretty plain. And that's because the environment is set up this way. So the easiest way to deal with this, let's go back to 3D view. So I tell it I want the window here to be 3D view. Then in here, this one here is, you can see it says world. That's my world settings. So currently the color is set to white. So what I'm going to do, you can set this to black and you can do whatever. I'm actually going to remove it. So I'm going to select nodes. Sorry, I clicked that. I clicked that pretty quickly. Select use nodes, and then on background, just select remove. Now when I render, there's no background and there's no lighting. So we just get a black screen here. So again, let's go back to 3D view. So what we're going to have to do to fix this is add light, and I'd also like to add a floor. So let's do a floor first. So the first thing you're going to want to do is select the environment, and then we go add mesh and plane, and that puts, oh, I've moved it. Okay. We'll just move it back. This is wherever you left click, it moves this little circle around. So wherever that happens to be, that's where it'll place the new objects. So we'll get that kind of under their feet a little bit there, like that. And it looks like it's kind of in their feet. So we'll grab this if I can get it. There we go. Like that. So what we want to do, we want to make this floor larger, obviously. So we go up here to the little cube, and that is the objects properties. And you can see it's scaled to just 1. I'm going to set this to 100 for each X, Y, and Z. Like that. So now I've got this great big area. I can also, I can give it some properties. So up here, this is the material for this plane that we've created. So we click on that. We click on new. And now it's got just a diffuse. I'm going to make it, we'll make it a blue color. Like that. And you can come in here, you can make it glossy, and you can make it bumpy. Like, see, we got roughness. I can turn the roughness up and make it a rough surface. You can mess around with that and make the floor look however you want. So now that the floor is in place, we need a light. So we're going to want to go back down here and go add lamp. And I'm going to go with an area lamp because I want to make some nice shadows. So we'll raise this up. And we'll move it across. And kind of get it. I want a bit of an angle because I want the shadows to stick out behind them a little bit. Like that. That's good. Then we're going to rotate. So to rotate, again, you press R. And then you just rotate the beam. And then from above, I'm going to do it again. R. Rotate the beam. That's pretty good. R. Rotate the beam again. That's not bad. Now the other thing I need to do is the brightness. It's currently at 100. I'm going to put it at 1000. And you'll have to mess around to find the brightness that works for you. Okay, and now finally, let's make sure the camera's where we want it. So select your camera by right-clicking on it. Then you can press 0 to switch to camera view. And we can press G to grab. Kind of get this lined up where we want it. I'm going to zoom out a bit. I'm going to press R, and I'm going to press R again to pan. I'm going to pan down, so I'm looking down here. Then I'm going to press G to grab and raise it up. Let's try that. So now I'm just going to render. I click Render, Image. There we go. So now you can see we've got this nice background with a nice floor. There's a little bit of, see the blue coloring in the shadows? That's because this floor is actually set to be reflective. So it's reflecting some of its color off. It'd look a little bit more natural if we rendered it at a higher quality. But anyway, that pretty much covers what I wanted to show you. Adding the second character, remember to save after you've done the first one so the file has a different name. Then you'll be able to reopen the same file to append the next character. Once they're skinned, adding the floor is as simple as clicking Add, and then adding the mesh and the plane, and then setting the properties with the block up here to 100 for each. Which I find, I mean, you can go bigger or smaller, but I find that's a pretty good number. Then you add your lamp, and now you can start doing things like messing with the shadows. You can add more lamps or less lamps. You can move them around, play with the brightness levels, all that kind of stuff. Okay, guys, so that's it for this one, and maybe in the next one we'll have a look at importing worlds right from Minecraft and using them as our backdrops. But until then, we'll see you later.